I'm Cynthia Carlson, and we're seated here in the beautiful fitness studio of Essential Fitness, having a conversation with none other than Maureen Amaral, who is the owner and creator of this beautiful place. And today's topic is something that I think is super exciting and so beneficial for all of us here, trainers and clients alike. It's called the Essential Fitness Pyramid. And we touched on it at our workshop on Saturday. And I just wanted to go a little more in depth with Maureen on it and to see what else we could learn and to glean from this process, which, as I said, I think is very beneficial. So, Maureen, what is the Essential Fitness Pyramid?
The Essential Fitness Pyramid represents decades of working with women to help them get from unhealthy, unhappy, unfit, or injured to a place of full transformation. And I've seen it so many times that you start to recognize clues, you start to recognize patterns and trends. And what we did is we just looked at our process here at Essential Fitness and we said, what do the most successful women do? What do they have in common? And we find year after year that the same process generally happens for most women who stay engaged. And I thought that it would be beneficial for everybody to see it written down on paper for a couple reasons, so that they can have realistic expectations, so they can feel like they're not alone and that they're on track even though sometimes they're discouraged or frustrated. And to also give them something to shoot for, a way of knowing that we have a plan for them and that we know that if they keep going and keep showing up, that they're going to progress. When they're in our system, that there's what I call a yellow brick road, that if they just keep taking the steps, that we are going to lead them to their Oz, that we're going to get them exactly what they want out of this process. And it's up to them to do the work, but we know we can expect what's going to happen at various stages of her journey.
Oh, that's awesome. So that just answered what I was going to ask next, but we knew this would happen. Why is this important to know and to have, and how does it benefit our clients here? So that's great. That's amazing. So let's go through some of these, I don't know what you want to call them, pillars, little stops along the road.
Yes.
So let's start at the beginning.
Let's start at the beginning. If you can see it, here's another little version of it. But what we find is, in the beginning, it's the first 90 days. So many women, especially if they're over the age of 40, but 40s, 50s, and 60s, have spent years or decades either not working out, slowly gaining weight, trying different diets, taking care of everybody else but themselves. By the time they hit their 40s and 50s, what has happened is their metabolism has slowed down. Our hormones start to change. They're losing strength because they're not resistance training.
Right.
And they see, they just look at themselves and they're like, what happened? So what we have found is that when they start coming here and working with our trainers and showing up, generally, ideally 3 to 5 times a week, that it takes about 90 days for them to really create momentum. Mm-hmm. The first 30 days goes by really quickly. The next 30 days, at about month 2, they're starting to make some more serious changes with their food. Unfortunately, I wish I could say, just change your food and you'll be fine. It's not what I see in reality. What happens is women start working out first and they get the exercise part down pat, and then they get more successful at changing their food. So at about the 4 to 8 week mark, they start making more significant changes in their food. By about the 3rd month, and now they're starting to get a little bit frustrated because they're undoing all those things that they've done in the past, all those diets that they've tried, all those extreme workouts, their family and their friends and their coworkers pulling back on them, trying to get them back into their priority circle rather than watching this woman shift her focus to fitness and wellness. So there's a lot of things that happen in the first 90 days. And if if she's doing all those things correctly, by about the 6 to 8 week mark, by about the 10 to 12 week mark, the weight starts coming off. She starts feeling a lot better in her clothes. She's making better decisions. And then it's like the magic happens. It's one of our favorite sayings here: first slowly, then suddenly. And the big important thing I think about having a coach during this process is that we keep her on track, because I see so many women, friends of mine and people on Facebook, that will try anything for 30 days or 60 days. And then they think, oh my gosh, that didn't work, so I'm just going to quit. And you know what? If we didn't have accountability here, if we didn't have a very small group of women so that we could focus on them as trainers, they would fall through the cracks as well. But our system prevents that. We talk to them all the time. We tell them about this first 90 days so that they're more realistic and they don't get frustrated and they don't quit. Because man, as soon as that happens, as soon as they build momentum, magic.
Yeah, building traction. So are there exceptions to this?
Not often. The only exception I would say that I see is that if they aren't coming in often enough. If you're only working out once or twice a week, to create momentum could take you much longer than 90 days. So the ideal 90-day scenario is working out at least 4 days a week. That means that you're working out 4 days a week and you're off 3 days a week. You have to be doing it more than not doing it for your body to start to respond to you and for your body to start to burn calories more easily and get more efficient at the work. So let's say 4 to 5 days a week. And the exception would be if you're coming in once to twice a week, you can create momentum, but you just have to understand that it could take 2 to 3 times longer.
And so there's a magic number for the number
There
of workouts.
is a magic number. So what we've seen is it's about 60 workouts.
60 workouts.
So on the average, that's 20 a month. That's 4-ish a week. 4 to 5 a week.
How many here with us at Essential Fitness? First 90 days.
As many as possible. If people are prohibited for some reason from coming in that often, then if they're here 2 to 3 times a week, then they have to figure out a way to do more working out on their own. And we're educating them all the time so that they have the tools to do that.
Minimum of 3 times a week here to hit that magic number, in addition to you're doing your workouts out there that we help coach them to do.
Yes.
Yeah. It's true. We've seen it over and over.
And over.
Yes. So that's your first 90 days.
First 90 days.
After that, what's next? You've gone your first 90 days. You've hit the magic number of 60. You're feeling pretty good. What's next?
So in that first 90 days, not only have they practiced the habit of prioritizing fitness and shown up when they're supposed to be here, but they've also built strength and they've burned calories and they made their muscles more efficient at exchanging oxygen and waste products. So now they're getting more fit. The 4 foundational or essential tasks that come after that is how we help them continue to master the things that they need to master to make this a lifestyle. So the first is exercise. We've talked about that. It's just called showing up and doing the work. Next, nutrition. We have a lot of different focuses here on nutrition. A couple things we don't do is we don't believe in giving up food groups. We don't believe in short-term, white knuckle 30 or 60 day or 2-week cleanses or anything that you won't be able to maintain forever. We're not interested in it. We preach things like eat more protein, put a half a plate of vegetables with your protein on every meal, drink more water. So we get into that more in depth, but exercise, then nutrition. And then the other 2 pieces I also think make us pretty unique from most other gyms is that we talk about personal growth, like changing your mindset about who you are, what you're capable of, and what you want to achieve. And although we give that to people every single day when they're in, we're just pouring motivation and inspiration on you all the time. But I don't think a couple times of being in here a week is enough. So we ask our clients to spend 10 minutes every day on personal growth. What can that be? Journaling, reading, listening to podcasts, meditation, because we want to see you grow as a whole person, as an individual, as a mother, a wife, a sister, or a friend. And we've also found that if you don't change your mindset and grow as a human being, then you're likely not to continue to take care of yourself in the long run.
Right.
And then finally, our 4th essential task is personal physical therapy. So most women come to us with at least 1 injury. And one thing I'm super proud of is that they just get better when they're in our care. So that speaks to the longevity of our programming. But it also requires people to take a little personal responsibility on management of soft tissue injuries, previous injuries, lack of flexibility. And 5 or 10 minutes a day can go a long way for 30 days or 60 days. It's far more effective to spend 5 or 10 minutes on a shoulder or neck that hurts, or tight low back. Spending that time on your own, 5 to 10 minutes, is a lot more valuable than coming in to work out 3 or 4 days a week. And yes, we stretch every day, but it doesn't add up like your daily routine can.
That's so true.
So that's the fourth essential pillar of long-term success here.
So then building on that, what's next? Mastery.
Next is mastery. So the second layer of the pyramid, clients can stay there as long as they choose to stay there. So it doesn't mean that you have to master all 4 things to move up the levels, but you have to get masterful at least a couple of them. And the 2 biggest, of course, are exercise and nutrition. As you start mastering those, that can happen anywhere between the 3rd month and a year. Most often we see a full transformation for women in a year. And that means that she's starting to master those things, that she becomes a regular exerciser, that she is now making much better choices when it comes to food, that she's managing little tweaks or twinges that come up during her workouts and not letting injuries or anything limit her ability to work out. And she's also managing her mindset, making her priorities, believing that she can do it, and showing up even when she doesn't want to. And when we start to see these women master these tasks, then it's like they have all kinds of momentum. Then they can go on vacation and come back and still weigh the same. Or they can go out to a birthday celebration and eat what they normally wouldn't eat, or drink a little bit more than they would. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm still down in my weight, or I still lost weight over the weekend. And for us, that is definitely where they can live in that realm for as long as they like.
That's right. That's why the bottom 2 are so important. First 90 days, then these essential tasks, you become skilled at that. Then some of the activities of your life that would set you back or sideline you from making progress aren't that big of a setback. You know how to come back from that, a vacation, an event, a party. I think those are huge.
Huge. And that for me is like living your best life.
Yeah. So you've mastered that. So next, top of the pyramid. Icing on the cake. Oh, cake.
We have this pathway for all of our clients who come through the door at Essential Fitness, no matter where you start, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. But at the top of the pyramid is Team and Team Plus. So this is advanced training. This is reserved for our more advanced, I don't want to say dedicated clients, but clients who've been with us long enough that they can work out at a higher level, are more independent, have proven themselves reliable, and have reached a certain level of fitness. And this may not be for everybody, but what it does is it just, for those who are like myself and Cynthia, who always want a little bit more, who always want to continue to grow, who want to be challenged more out of their comfort zone and are ready for that, that's what Team and Team Plus are.
And so no matter where you are, there's a place for you to live in this essential fitness pyramid. There is always your first 90 days is your first 90 days.
Yeah.
But then after that, the essential tasks and your mastery, you can go through those up and down, master it.
Yes.
Fell back, got to create, maybe my personal PT is lagging and I need to do something a little bit more there.
Right.
But you're always like working on mastery. And then Team Plus, pinnacle.
Yes.
And it's never really done.
No.
We're never really finished.
Ongoing growth, ongoing. And it's a personal philosophy of my own and one of yours as well, and something that we hope to impart on everybody here.
That's great. Is there anything else? Did we cover it all?
I think we did. I just want everybody to know that no matter where you are in your fitness journey, or maybe you haven't started one yet, but my ultimate goal for all women out there is to make sure to put them and themselves and their health first, because we're so good at being caregivers and we take care of everybody else's needs and desires and wants, and we're just masters at putting ourselves last. And I am here to hopefully motivate and inspire everybody to take care of themselves, because you only have one life, and the happier and healthier you are, the better you can take care of everybody else around you. So That's
I
my wish
love
for
it.
everybody.
Oh, thanks for doing this today. I really
You're welcome.
appreciate it. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, make it a great day.